Hi, I'm Adrienne, and I'm going to explain to you today why, as Christians, we can still believe in most of the ideas behind the evolution theory. Evolution is the theory that all species of plants and animals developed from earlier forms by hereditary transmission of slight variations in successive generations. And a lot of people think that evolution has nothing to do with religion, and you can't believe in evolution if you're really a Christian. However, even Charles Darwin, who is the guy who really made the evolution theory popular, he was a Catholic and he was on his way to becoming a priest when he got offered a position as a naturalist, which is what a scientist was back then. So it's really easy to believe in organic evolution. For example, every time you take antibiotics, they always tell you to take all of them and not to skip them when you start feeling better. And that's because if you don't finish them, you don't completely kill the bug, you just knock it down, and then when it reproduces, it evolves to form stronger bugs, and all of a sudden you're sick again, and that same antibiotic no longer works because the bug has evolved to be resistant to it. It's also really easy to recognize that there's new plants that have evolved from cross-pollination. John Hawks, who's a professor of anthropology at the University of Wisconsin, he claims that humans have evolved a whole lot over the last 3,000 to 10,000 years. Once upon a time, we were unable to drink milk beyond infancy. We drank our mother's milk, and when we weaned off, we couldn't handle milk anymore because we lacked the enzyme. But now 65% of humans now are able to drink milk. I wish I was one of them. We also are more resistant to certain diseases. Europeans are more resistant to smallpox because they've had epidemics of smallpox and they have evolved to build up the resistance. If you live sub-Sahara in Africa, you're more resistant to malaria for the same reason. And you know, our brains have shrunk in size and our skulls are smaller. This doesn't mean we're not as smart. Scientists believe that because our smaller brains are now more efficient. At one point, everybody had brown eyes, but now a lot of people have blue and green, and this has been the result of human beings evolving. However, it starts getting a little dicey when we look at how the whole process started, and we start comparing how some evolution theorists talk about how the world came into being. Some believe that we started out as molecules in this primordial pool and they evolved and eventually became plants and animals. Is this impossible when you compare it to the Bible? Not necessarily, because the Bible says that God created the earth and everything in it over 6 days. However, the Hebrew word that's used here is the word yom, and it doesn't necessarily mean a 24-hour span. It could mean a huge chunk of time. So could God have created the earth and everything in it over 6 huge chunks of time? Absolutely. I have no issue with that as a Christian. But even if those 6 days were 24-hour days, could God have sped up the process? He's God. Yeah, I think so. So I don't have an issue with that either. Humans, the one thing I do take big issue with is that humans did not evolve from monkeys. The Bible says that God created Adam from the dirt and he created Eve from Adam's ribs. So I don't buy that we evolved from monkeys. There's no monkey business here. So anyway, that's my opinion about evolution. As a Christian, it's totally cool. Thanks for listening.